Welcome to Season 4 of Soccer Over Gotham, an NWSL podcast covering New Jersey, New York, Gotham FC, hosted by Ruby Pinto and produced by Gary Gibson. Welcome to episode 111 of Soccer Over Gotham. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia edition. We have a great show for all of you. Gary, what do we have in this episode?
Ruby, there's a lot in this episode.
Yes.
First, Gotham gets all 3 points, dominates the Spirit on a beautiful day in Philly. Then the Gotham National Team Group Stage is complete. They move on. And in segment 2, we'll discuss the impact of our players chasing glory in the Olympics. Gotham has 2 shock signings. Gotham signs one of the best defenders in the world, then one of the best prospects in the world. One of those prospects, McKenna, Whitham, becomes the youngest U.S. sports debutante. We're going to discuss this unique situation. Then we have injury updates on Esther. Then we'll talk about the escalation and the fallout of Canada's spying scandal, which is getting crazier by the day. And then we will give our thoughts and takeaways on the group stage of the Gotham national team. But Ruby, first, how are you?
Whew. Watching a lot of the Olympics as much as I can. Yeah, I've watched badminton so far, shooting. What else have I watched? Basketball, soccer, of course. What else have I watched? Gymnastics, of course. Watched a lot so far, but I'm enjoying it. And today I'm so happy because Guatemala got their first ever gold medal this Olympics. And I think that's just exciting that we finally got our first gold medal. Plus, it was by a woman. So this was in the shooting competition, and she did amazing.
Like the air rifle competition thing?
Yes, where they have to shoot the plates.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, because it's like the skeet shooting thing. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, cool. That is awesome, and congrats to Guatemala. That's amazing. This is what the competition's all about. Yeah, I'm addicted to it too. All these sports that I've never followed in my life, I'm just rooting so hard for them, yelling at the TV. It's crazy. Yeah, but I think my favorite thing about the Olympics, more so, somewhat for the men, but most for the women, that it normalizes athletic body types and showcases them in the strength, beauty, grace, all of that. And it just I know that young girls can see themselves in the Olympics and their body type, and then every sport is different, and just all shapes, colors, sizes, and it's amazing to see the display. And again, hopefully it helps normalize body positivity.
Of course, definitely. That's very important. How we've seen a lot of diversity in these games, and also in the soccer team this Olympics as well. The U.S. Women's National Team has a lot of Black players at the moment, just killing it out there.
Yeah, it's awesome. And again, this is what the games are all about, and it's so much fun, and just getting into it. So yeah, let's jump into some Gotham news. First, let's just get right to the headline, which is McKenna Whitham, she got signed to a permanent contract starting 2025, but she previously debuted for the team in the preseason Women's Cup tournament and scored the winning goal. I think it was in the first game. But then she also got signed to a national team replacement contract, and now she was able to play in Philadelphia, and she did, becoming the youngest player ever to debut in a U.S. Soccer league. 2 weeks before, Caven Sullivan from the Philadelphia Union just was maybe a couple months ahead of her. So she breaks the record on the same field he did, which is pretty cool.
Oof, that's crazy. I have mixed feelings about this debut. I am older now, of course. Even though I do not have children, I don't know. I think about it if that was my 14-year-old, I don't know if I would let her play professionally. I think it's a little too young. But then if I put myself in her shoes, if I was 14, 13, almost 14, and the opportunity to play with a great team professionally comes along, I would be sign me up. I would cry to my mom, whatever I had to do to get, to play professionally. So again, I have mixed emotions about it, but obviously she is really talented. and she has the ability to play. So good for her. And I know that Juan Carlos saw something in her that we just needed to have her here. In the past game that she played in Philly right now, like one thing that I did notice is her speed. She's a fast girl for 14.
Yeah, nothing about this is normal. This is not a normal 14-year-old kid. It's not a normal profession to choose. She had already trained with Angel City. She had trained with the Washington Spirit, I think. And she went to the preseason cup. She was saying that she wanted to go pro. Like, this is what she wanted. So somebody was going to sign her. I'm kind of glad Gotham did, because she's been training with Gotham since. And she's in a good spot. She's going to be around a lot of veterans, and Gotham doesn't need her. So they could use her 5 minutes, 10 minutes here at a time, let her grow into her game, and she's going to learn around some of the best in the game.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But watching her in the warm-ups, she hits the back of the net almost every time. She's got great technique, and she's big for a 14-year-old as far as
Mm-hmm.
like her size. So she's going to grow into her body. She's going to get better and better. I think it's a good spot for her, because I think she's got the amount of talent she has is incredible. And you saw her on the field. She can
Yeah.
she can move. She's smart with the ball. She hustles, and yeah. So I do get when people say it's too young. I mean, I do subscribe to that. Like, if you are good enough, you're old enough. But 14 is crazy. And try to take myself out of it, because at 14, I don't want to talk about what I was doing at 14.
I know.
But
Me either.
but yeah, I'm happy for her, and I think this is a good place for her to grow, because again, she can do it slowly around some of the best players in the world. So, one for the future. But that's not the only signing that Gotham had. Gotham signed Jess Carter from Chelsea for an undisclosed transfer fee, one of the best defenders in the world, Ruby, through
And
2026.
wow, this is amazing. This is great. But first of all, I feel like I don't know where Gotham is finding money to like signing all these players, amazing players to Gotham. I don't know. They have to be getting it from somewhere. We've been saying monopoly money. I don't know. Something's going on there. But honestly, I'm so excited about this new signing. Jess Carter is a winner. She's also an international player, and she has experience, which is what we need. We like to have that mix of some experience and not some people with not so much experience, like the 14-year-old we just signed Whitham. So I think it's a good mix. I can't wait to see her play. And a fun fact here is I guess this is Gotham's second goalkeeper defender couple.
It's funny, because we talked about this when I think it was when she got engaged to Anne. I think I said, I was like, if we didn't have like 8 or 9 defenders, I would take her in a second.
Yeah.
Apparently, Gotham doesn't care about depth.
Yeah.
They're just signing the best players available, whether they have room for them or not.
Yeah. And like I said before, Jess was here. That's when Jess and Berger got engaged back in April. So I guess she got engaged and she was like working on a new deal with Gotham as well.
Yeah, she said that she went to one of the games and was just got addicted to it, as far as like the atmosphere here
Yeah,
and the setup, and obviously with Anne telling her good things about the
of
team.
course.
It's a natural fit, and she's super talented. She's one of the best 1v1 defenders in the world. Do we need her? No, but I'm happy she's here.
Yeah, but
And
is it nice to have her? Yes.
and it seemed like Amros has talked to her about playing outside back. I think that's where he sees her best fit. I mean, we'll see. He's a mad scientist. He might put her
Hmm.
forward. Who knows? Yeah. But however, I think Gotham is doing well getting the best players available, and I can't say no to a player of her caliber. So yeah. But on the negative side, not negative side, but just as a bummer, we finally find out what happened to Esther Gonzalez. Do you want to talk about that, Ruby?
Yes. So she posted on Instagram about she undergone surgery for her left toe about a month ago. So we didn't know. We were all wondering what was going on with Esther. We didn't have any updates. We finally saw her post about what was going on. And this is what she said in her post. Since you've been asking me a lot lately where I was, I want to tell you that today marks a month since I had to undergo surgery for a discomfort on my left toe. It was finally an extortosis. I don't even know how to say that word.
Exostosis.
Exostosis. And then she says the importance of living in a positive and optimistic state of mind means that we always see opportunities. She tagged her girlfriend and says, we never been so long without training or competing. We've taken advantage of the process to enjoy it and learn a lot from it. And she says that, yes, now she's back and she's looking forward to putting on the Gotham jersey again.
So, if you don't know what this is, essentially it's you've heard the term bone spurs. Bone spurs are what happens in your heel. Underneath your toenail is where like an extra, I guess, bone growth happens. Where if you use it gets worn down too much, or if it gets too much pressure on it, it will start to grow. Or it could be genetic, could be that too as well. But if you're not
Okay.
wearing the right shoes, if you're not planting your foot properly, those things can happen. And it depends on how quickly they caught it. If it's something early, she can be back really soon. If it was something that she's been fighting through for a while, then it could take a little bit while for her to get back. But either way, we're rooting for her and we can't wait to see her back on the field. And I'm glad that she took the decision to get surgery, get it better, and we will see her hopefully very soon.
I mean, it would suck just to like be playing with pain all the time. So I'm so glad she went and got that surgery. I hope to see her soon back with Gotham. I'm still rooting for her to score a lot of goals for Gotham this season.
Yeah, she can. Let's just put this out there. This is the Summer Cup tournament, and we do realize that the amount of listeners to our show has definitely dropped during this period of time because not many people care about the Summer Cup. So I'm saying this to you guys out there who are listening to this podcast now. I love you guys, and thank you for tuning in because you're the real fans. The other fans can show up when good things and positive things are happening, but when it's like the lulls and you still show up, you're the best. We appreciate you. And you can appreciate us by rating us 5 stars on
Spotify. 5 stars, please.
But let's talk about this game, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay, this is the second round of the group stage. And it is important to note again that a win is 3 points, a win versus PK is 2 points, a loss via PKs is 1 point, and a loss completely is 0 points. Well, first, let's talk about Philly. Philly was a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous day. And it's interesting because, like, at Red Bull Arena, the media seats are pretty close to the field, so you can see the whole field right close up. In Philly, like they're like up in this apparatus on the top of the stadium, looking down, so it's like really far away from the field. But
Yep.
it's kind of cool to be able to get that like overview of the field. But it's just weird being that far away from the field. I'm used to my front row seats.
Yeah. And there's just like columns or posts, I don't know, like in between sometimes. Like
Yes.
if you get one of the, sometimes you have to move a little bit to be able to like watch the game better. Nothing like Red Bull. Red Bull's amazing, but they have announced that they're gonna like do construction and they're gonna remove media from where they are right now, and
What?
they're gonna add like some VIP seatings or club boxes or something like that. Sucks.
Yeah, it does suck. Now, on the game itself, this was surprisingly was shades of 2023. I mean, this was Gotham, extremely high line, very aggressive, very direct play, and they pinned Washington in their half. I think for most of this game, and they had 55% possession, and it was higher in the first half, was near like 65% possession. Their pass accuracy was higher than Washington. They pretty much led in every category. Chances created, they created a big chance, like 7 corners to 2. It was basically pushing Washington around for most of this game. 18 shots in total to 4. Only and lastly, Washington had 22 clearances to Gotham's 9. They were really pinned in there.
I mean, I think Gotham played really well in this game. Like you just mentioned, they dominated the game in most of these areas. I really like that they were playing aggressive and direct, like you said, because that's what I wanted them to do. I wanted like,
Mhm.
just be more direct, be a little faster, and they were doing that. I felt like Gotham was like keeping the pace of the game. It was really good from Gotham's side. There was one instance in the first, I think it was in the first half, where Brian had like the ball and she decided to like keep the ball a little too long, and by then it was too late. She didn't shoot the ball, and I was like, that was such a missed opportunity because she was like right in front of the goal by herself. But by the time like she wanted to shoot, it was too late. Defenders were already there. Like I mentioned last week, don't let those defenders like get in place. You have to like just do it.
Yeah, quick striking. I loved the player movement in this game. The team was so fluid that from my vantage point, it was really fun to watch. Like Bernini start on the left side, then she's up on the right side, then she's up and she's centrally. Uh, Kristen Evans comes in the second half. She starts as the right back. Within 5-10 minutes, she's up at the right wing, and Ryan's back
Mhm.
at and defensive right back. And then she slides centrally, and she's a striker position for 10 to 15 minutes. And it was just fun to see how much the players were moving around and finding space. And yeah, absolutely. And 2023 Bernina showed up. She
Yeah.
was flying, chipping balls over defenders for fun, taking on players, playing in dangerous crosses. She was awesome. I just loved seeing Bernini out there.
Yeah, this is the Bernina we're used to like see play, watch her play. Last game, it was I felt like she was off. She was off her game. That was not the Bernina we seen and we're used to. So I was so happy to see her. Like she definitely like stepped up in this game. Again, last game she didn't have the best game, but hey, she's there. She's coming back.
Yeah, complete freedom for her in this game. It's possible. I mean, we talked about this earlier that they, with Jenna pushing so high, they want her to stay more back and not go forward as much to expose the defense. But in this game, this was her game to do that. She was flying up the wings and she looked like she was having fun. So, which was awesome. Another thing I really enjoyed was watching Stevens and Stengel play off of each other. They looked like a really good pairing, and Stevens got Stengel behind the back line 2 or 3 times early in this game, and twice Stevens jumped back into the midfield. She turns really quickly and plays that direct ball behind the defense. She got Ryan behind later on in the game off that ball too. So I'm really impressed with Stevens, just her ability to play, because she's been a number 10 before, so she can play a
Mhm.
final ball. So I thought she was impressive on the night.
Yeah, I like how creative she gets. Sometimes she does things we're not expecting her to do, and I really like that about her. She's just spontaneous on the field. Really love that about her, and she's selfless. As long as if she sees that someone has a better opportunity than her to take the shot, she'll give up the ball.
Maybe when all our forwards are back, we can drop her into 10, see how well she does there as well. Why not?
Mhm.
And speaking of midfield, this midfield three of Zerboni, Neely, and Sheehan just bossed Washington around. They were impressive. They controlled the tempo of the game, where the game was being played, and I think Zerboni looks as good as ever in the middle of the park.
Yeah, I think Zerboni was a big part of why this midfield was
Hmm.
really playing well this game. And hey, Cervoni has the captain's armband. Like it just seems right, you know. Everything seems right about that. You know, she motivates the team while she's always communicating and she's always putting like her body and whatever in front of the ball to like make sure that they get that ball back when the opponent has it. I love that she's putting in the work.
It does make you nervous sometimes when she goes into tackles, but because she
Right.
always goes 110%. And speaking of the midfield, I think having Neely Martin back in the defensive midfield was the best spot for her. She was excellent at driving back as a third center back, and it really allowed our defensive center backs to get really wide and open the field up and
Mhm.
pull Washington around. And Neely was good getting forward as well. It was just good to see her back in the D mid. And I was going to say that it was good to finally see Sabrina Flores back on this team and on the field. I think she looked fit. She looked aggressive. She looked smart. She looked. I mean, when she was on this team, she could never get going. It was always an injury, either in the waiting. She just again never got going. There was never a doubt about her talent. Like she's always been talented, just just never could get going. So it was good to see what she could do higher up the field. She was in midfield for this one.
Yeah, I'm so glad that she got to play in this game. Like you said, she's always fit. She's trained. We follow her on Instagram and she kills it. She's always working out day in, day out, putting in the work. I guess like Lynn Williams says, like if you're ready, you don't have. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So you'll be ready for anything that comes. Looks like she got this opportunity. She was ready. She's fit. Like you said, nobody really gave her a chance. All she needs is a chance. And I this time that she was playing, she looked different, really different. In a way that you could see like her confidence coming out. She looked really calmed in the pitch, and she looks different as a player, and in a good way.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I still think she has talent. I'm
Yeah,
still surprised that she hasn't found a team yet. I think that she could have joined her sister down in Liga MX. I think she could do that easily.
yeah.
And obviously, if you're if you're a USL Super League team, she's kind of like the ideal player. Still youngish and talented.
Yeah,
So
and this is a good thing, as well for for these kind of players like Sabrina. Now that Liga MX and NWSL are playing in this tournament together, maybe the Mexican side is looking at these players as well. Like, hey, we can probably bring one of these players over to Mexico, and it could work out for one of them.
yeah, Gotham gets a goal after struggling to get balls on frame for pretty much the most of the game. It was very much, Gotham being Gotham. Ryan gets taken down the box by a national team replacement player from the USL Super League who came in, Aguilera. I think she played on Chicago before going to the Super League, but it's one of those first loans up from the Super League. And she makes a clumsy tackle into Ryan, takes her down. Ryan gets the ball. And this was interesting because Kristen Edmonds runs over to her and starts talking to her. And in the post game, I forget her name. Writes for the Athletic. I apologize. I forgot her name, but she asked her about like what did Kristen say to you before taking that penalty, and she said that she had full confidence in me. I think she was just making sure that I wanted it, and if I wanted it, that's what it was going to be. And then she just goes, Kristen, we miss her on the pitch. She's an awesome leader. She's always communicates and she brings that confidence in herself and then gives confidence to you and others as well. She had full trust in me and I felt great. And so it was great.
Yeah, definitely. Like, we do miss her on the pitch as well. Like she says, that confidence that she brings. She's always so positive when you see Edmonds, and it's hard not to see her on playing with Gotham because she has so much talent. But then again, there's so much talent in this team. This team is so deep. It's so hard just to be a starter or be a regular in the team. I wish Gotham would give her more minutes, but at the same time, if Gotham is not going to give her minutes, I wish she would find a team that would, because she's really talented.
Yeah. Did we even mention her engagement on this podcast? She got engaged a couple like weeks ago, something like that. Did we?
No, we have not.
Oh, so congrats, Kristen. Sorry, we missed that. But yeah, Kristen is very much like in the same mold. This is why she got along so well with Krieger last season. She's a coach on the field, so she's always there trying to make sure everybody is on point. And that's exactly something that Kristen would do. Would just check on everybody, even if you're taking a penalty, just to
Mhm.
make sure you're in the right place. You want this, go get it. Give you the confidence, and this whole team's playing with confidence right now, so it's good. So yeah, good on the coaching staff. Then Gotham closes out this game, gets the youngster on the field for the first time. Good for her. But Cassie Miller ends up with another shutout. Gotham moves on.
That was awesome, but it was very close. I feel at the end, I think Washington wanted that equalizer. They didn't get it. Gotham was able to get those 3 points, which were really important for them if they wanted to keep moving.
Yeah, they don't make it easy on us ever, even in these tournaments. However, we'll get to that later, but Gotham is in a really good spot right now. They've managed these two games very well, and excited about it. Looking forward to the last group stage games on Friday. Well, let's quick get some player notes. Just want to say it again. I think Hyatt is excellent. I think she continues her stellar play. I think she was amazing in this one.
For me, it's Stengel. I feel bad that she wasn't able to score in this game because she was trying. She was really trying to get that ball like in goal, but she wasn't able to get it in the back of the net. It was so sad not to see a goal from her. She tried and tried and tried, and I don't know what do we need to do to get a Stengel goal.
I don't know. She was an inch away a couple times.
Hmm.
Just yeah, she'll get there. let's go to some post game quotes. Now, this is funny too. You can tell, like, when you get the post game quotes email, you can see the quotes and stuff. If you see one that's like really, really long, just know that it was my question. Because, like, I can't ask a normal question. I can't. It's impossible. I'm a podcaster. So it's always like a qualifier, and then a question, and then I tail something on the end, and it always like makes the conversation go way too long. It's always like this, and then how does that make you feel?
Wait, so what did you ask?
So I asked about, I talked about that they pull for national team replacement players are a little bit shorter now than it has been, but Gotham did good because they brought in players that are familiar with the system, and Nicole Baxter and Sabrina Flores. And I just wanted to know, like, what specifically did you have conversations with them? What specifically did you bring them in here for? And then Juan Carlos he's a long winded. He always gives long winded answers, but I'm gonna shorten it for you guys because it's really really long. But basically, he just said Baxter is a great addition to the team and that she's familiar with the players and the staff, and she's been very positive. And when he talked to her originally about joining the team, she was very positive about the club's progress and where it's in a better space now. So it was easy for her to come in here and be in a better place with the club. But he also said Sabrina obviously is a fantastic player and a person, and that whether Sabrina is with this team or not with this team, she's part of this team. So that was an easy transition for her to get back in. Obviously, she won a championship with this team, and everyone considers her part of this team. She's still part of this group. And he did mention that she's in excellent shape because we all know that she's incredibly fit. And he says that he's incredibly proud of her. He liked that he was able to get her on the field. He liked what he saw, and he's very very hopeful to get Baxter on the field very soon.
Ooh, that is awesome. But yeah, that was a long question. Usually when I go, first I have to think about a good question because I don't want to ask something that someone already, well, most of the time people ask the obvious questions like, what do you think about the win today?
Mm-hmm.
So I know I cannot ask that because that'll be taking like someone else is going to ask that. It's a little too obvious. So
Mm-hmm.
think a little bit about my question. And then I think about a question, think about two, and sometimes I end up asking three
Yeah.
questions in a row. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I got one more.
Ask a question like, and I have two follow ups.
Yep. Well, sometimes they're not even like related to each other, but I was like, this is my chance.
I'm always like trying to ask him like not personal questions, but like stuff that's like a little bit on the
Yeah.
edges, and because I obviously don't get to talk to them much, so I try to find questions that are fun and allow them to be more themselves instead of just answering honestly boring questions about the game. So fan votes. Fans voted Ryan as the hero of the match. 50% of the vote. Bernini was at 12. Sheehan Martin. I make these polls. I can do what I want. Sheehan Zerboni Martin was one category, and they were 20%. And then Stengel and Stevens, the pair of them, 16.9%. Do you agree?
I do, but I don't because yes, Ryan was a big part of this and she's definitely a hero, but everyone did their part in this game. Gotham this season has not been able to win Washington Spirit. So this is a huge win for Gotham. And I think everyone did their part. So if I could give it to everyone, I'm just going to give it to everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go with that. And Bernini. All right. So Group D standings right now, Gotham is at 5 points leading the group. So all they need to do is get a win or a win in penalty kicks, and they're through automatically. However, they can still not make it because Washington plays the Red Stars. So Washington can jump ahead of Gotham on goal differential if they really beat up on the Chicago Red Stars. As long as we win or win by PKs, we're through. Now, first week, we talked about this last week. The first one Liga MX team won, and it was against another Liga MX team. And this week, they showed up. I guess they got over their jet lag or whatever, and they were winning games left and right, and they're putting it to the NWSL teams this week. It was completely different results.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Checked again. I was checking. I was like, I thought it was really interesting thing to see, like how last week they were all losing against teams, and now this week they were just winning. So I was like, okay, so now things get more interesting because Gotham has to play Chivas next game. So we'll see how they're gonna perform playing against Chivas.
Friday Night Lights, August 2nd, 8 p.m., Red Bull Arena, Paramount Plus. And Gotham, I mean, again, as we talked about, they likely just need a win or win NPKs, and we're through, which is awesome because we want all the trophies, all of them. And Chivas had a rough start against Washington, but it seems like they ironed stuff out. They took a Stabless Chicago and they beat them, which is pretty crazy. And I think they were the better team throughout most of that match. And if we look at the standings, Gotham is the third highest point getting team in this tournament, which is cool because it seems to show that every team has a chance in these tournaments because it seems to be pretty even across the board. Only Angel City won their first two games and KC won their first two games. Other than that, everyone's has some kind of draw or loss or something like that. But Gotham is in a really good spot right now, and I'm really, really happy about it. Your thoughts on just the standings?
I wanted to mention about Angel City with the 2 wins. I think that's really good. Right now, Becky Tweed is kind of like, all eyes on her because she was doing really great last season. This season, not so much in the regular season. And now getting these 2 wins in the Summer Cup, I think it gives the team like a new like I don't know, like it's refreshing for them, like having 2 wins in a row. It's going to build up their confidence. So I just wanted to mention that about Angel City.
Yeah, and I think they've played America and BFC. I think they got San Diego. I think in the last game. That's going to be a good matchup indeed. Well, first let's talk about this game. As we all know, if you watch Liga MX Femenil at any point, you know that they love bangers. They will shoot from
Yeah.
anywhere,
Yep.
any place, anytime. They're absolutely not afraid to shoot from distance. And so Cassie has to be good in her positioning and not be too far off her line because they will try it from anywhere. And I just think if Gotham's locked in, I think if this team that boss the spirit around show up, I think we're going to be good. But it should be a decisive win.
Yeah, it's gonna be definitely gonna be a great game, and like you said, yeah, they like to shoot from outside the box. But I love that Cerboni also loves to shoot outside the box. In this last game against Washington, she was really trying.
Yeah, she was shooting her shot. So, but let's jump over. Let's talk about the craziest thing about the Olympics, and it keeps getting crazier by the
Woo!
day. First, we talked about what we knew at the time. We knew that assistant coach were caught spying on the New Zealand national team, and they were sent home. Then the coach stepped away from the game as a solidarity thing or just fair play thing. She stepped away. Then we find out that they released the coach. And it turns out the question was last week that why New Zealand of all teams, right? That was the question. If you could spy on a team, why would you spy on New Zealand? Apparently because they've been spying at everybody and they've been getting away with it. So this goes back years, and it seems like at every turn there's a new thing comes out. So the first that they were deducted 6 points, which stinks. I mean, just for the
Yeah.
players, that stinks. Then they released their head coach and 2 assistants face a year ban from the sport. And first, Canada decided to appeal the decision, and it immediately got rejected because there's new emails that came out that became public, and one of them was essentially the coach asking an HR person, "Why isn't this person spying on another team? And could we do it in a different way?" And
Yeah.
essentially, that like the men's teams were doing it for years, and all the top 10 teams do it. So I don't see what the problem is here. It was just wild,
It is
wild.
wild because now you're like kind of like you have to snitch now because I'm not they don't want to go down by themselves.
Right.
Like yeah, we were spying, but so was such and such, So now you're like pointing fingers as well, like kind of snitching like if I'm not going to go down by myself. It really sucks honestly for the Canadian players, especially
Mhm.
the women's team right now. I really feel bad for them because I'm pretty sure they didn't know about this. And I mean, have we have to accept they're great athletes. It just sucks that their success has to be stained by all of this. They work hard and having to come out and play in the Olympics in these conditions and must be tough. Must be tough mentally and emotionally for them. But look at them. Like they went out and they won their 3 group games. So even with the points deducted, they still got 3 points. They would have gotten 9. It just sucks for them.
Yeah, it's, just the two things. First, the players. It seems all things point to the players not knowing a thing about this. It seems to be a backroom thing with the coaches and the coaching staffs and the training staff and all that. So the players, again, feel bad for them because it seems to like they're a part of this thing at all. And like, secondly, like with national teams and the people that run the national team, especially in Canada, they've been talking about how they don't have any money for this, they can't afford this, they can't do
Mhm.
this, and I feel like I don't know they're going to use this as an excuse to do something where they're going to keep not paying the players what they deserve and things like that. I feel like it goes back to the players who have no hand in this, and I feel like they're going to get it. They're getting hurt by this in multiple ways. It stinks.
It really does. It really does. I was looking at Sheridan play,
Hmm.
and you could tell in her eyes that it's affecting her. I mean, despite all of this, she's still performing. It just sucks all around. Again, shame on Canada for doing these things, doing it to the players because they're the ones that are like pretty much have to go face the consequences of all the things that are happening right now. It just sucks. And like I don't know, it's such a complicated situation. We'll see what else comes out.
Yeah, I mean, you work your whole life to get to that point, and then to have it taken away from you from something that's completely out of your control, something you had no part of. That's got to be
Yeah,
amazing.
it also takes like away from the gold medal they got
Hmm.
4 years ago. And
True.
yeah, like you probably go home and look at that medal. You're not going to look at it the same way now.
Hmm. Speaking of medals, the Olympics still roll on, and the Gotham national team still rolls on. And the first things first, Tierney Davidson ended up injured in the second game. She was removed from the second game, and she did not play in the game today because of a knee contusion, which is essentially it's a bruise. I mean, when you get bruised on your skin, the blood gets trapped behind the skin, and when you get a really hard hit or kick against your bones, the blood gets trapped behind the bones, and it's called a contusion. So it takes a while for that to heal. Depending on how bad it is, it could be very short recovery time, but you're still tender. So it's like if you get hit in that spot again, it could lead to fractures. So it's good I mean, hopefully they're taking the most precaution and keeping
Mhm.
her, isolated, and hopefully she recovers quickly and we get back see her back in the field quickly, but be safe.
Yeah, I guess they're just going to take it day by day with Davidson to see if she'll be able to play for the next game. Probably not,
Mhm.
but hopefully, like you said, it's not that bad and she'll be back and play with the US.
Yeah, it's the same thing with Esther. It could be a short recovery, depending on when they caught it, how bad it is. Could be long recovery. Who knows? But again, we're wishing her the best. And so far, just your overall thoughts, Ruby, of this tournament so far that you've seen.
The Olympics or the Summer Cup?
The Olympics.
The Olympics? I think to me it kind of feels like a mini like World Cup.
Hmm.
And I love to see all these teams like see how they have progressed since the World Cup till now. So it's been a year since most of these teams have played each other. So I love to see that a team that like I hate to say that, like it's been losing. Zambia, I think they have good talent there. Barbara Banda is just killing it. Like it's it's crazy how she's been doing so much, and she already has how many goals for the tournament? I'm not sure. I think she has like 5 or 6, something like
Yeah, she
that.
had a hat trick in one of the games. Yeah.
Yeah. This woman, she's just superwoman out there, and she's doing the same thing in the NWSL. That's one thing that's been standing out to me, that she's just so talented.
Yeah, if you Google Inform, her
Yeah.
picture's going to pop up there. She's playing incredible, and yeah, that's another crazy situation too with their coach. Their coach
Yes.
was I don't know
He was
touching players.
granted He was
Yeah.
granted his visa to go to the Olympics while he is under investigation for sexual harassment. So
Yeah.
I don't think that's honestly unacceptable. He shouldn't be there, but it is what it is. Hopefully, someday things change and these things, like there's accountability for these kind of things.
No doubt. Yeah, you should not be there. If you can't be anywhere near the players, that's kind of a telltale sign that you shouldn't be.
Mhm.
Right. Anyway, this tournament so far, I think is the best I've seen this team play in a long, long time. I think that Emma Hayes has done an amazing job of. She's the
Yes.
first person to figure out how to use Trinity Rodman, Sophia Smith, and Swanson at the same time,
Mhm.
and that was something that Vlaco could never do. Still he's a good coach, but he just could never figure out that problem, how to get them three on the field and producing. And they're all producing and they're all playing very well. And that makes me very, very happy. I think they're playing very well with the ball. I think off the ball it could be a little bit sharper, but I think they'll get there. It's obviously she had like 2 games to prepare for this tournament. So yeah, that's not too bad, not a bad start. And I I think we're in a good spot, and I think we're playing well. I still think there's some little tweaks on the edges that could be done, but I think that's the way this is progressing. I think it's going to get better and better. Any thoughts on our players? Let's talk about some of the players.
Yeah, so first let's start with Lynn Williams. Lynn Williams got her first Olympic goal. I was so happy for her when she scored. She really deserved it. She's worked so hard to be here. Today I felt like she was a little off playing against Australia. I know she can do better. And hey, I think next game if she goes in, I think she's going to score another goal.
I agree with you. I think today's game was frustrating because even in the announcers said this. They said U.S. usually has a problem breaking down a low block, and Australia had 7 players. Had a low block of 7 players at all times. There was 5 across the back and 2
Mhm.
defensive midfielders. It was near impossible to get through the middle of the park. And over again, Swanson, Smith, and Rodman were taking the ball too direct, and you can't just drive into a box of 7 players. So I think this game, more than any of them, was a good game for Jenna Neiswanger to be sitting out there playing balls in, because it changes
Yeah.
the way. Because what you're doing with the low block is you're pulling rows all the way wide just to try to draw the defenders away from the box. And it's easier when you have a player like Neiswanger who can just
Mhm.
flap the wings and just play balls in. And we still don't have a player that does that. I do think Crystal Dunn looks amazing going forward, and I wish she was playing more forward and more centrally. But I don't know if Emma Hayes just does not trust Neiswanger yet. She's too young, maybe. I don't know. Maybe she just wanted to get all her veterans on the field, but I'm still mad that Jenna hasn't gotten many minutes.
Yeah, she got a little more this game than last. Hopefully, we'll see how this plays out because now we have Coffee that had a yellow card in this game, so she's gonna miss the next game. Sucks because Coffee is a really great player
Mhm.
on the field. So I think we'll see how Emma will decide to like who she will be putting instead of Coffee. Maybe I would like Bethune to be like instead of Coffee, but probably that's not gonna happen.
I mean, Bethune could play higher up. You can drop Haran back if you wanted to. You can put Emily Sonnet there. I know they're thin at center back, but there's things you can do. There's definitely things you can do. What are we manifesting this week as we go forward?
All right. So for I want to see Gotham dominate this next game, and I'm gonna manifest 3 goals against Chivas.
Yeah, let's have some fun. Let's score a lot of goals. All I want this week. Just score a lot of goals, have some fun, and then carry that momentum into the break, because we have a 2 week break after this, which is interesting. Going to enjoy this too. But everybody, you made it this far. Thank you for making it this far into the episode. We appreciate you. And yeah, just find us on Twitter, find us on Instagram. You know where to find us. We're working on some new logos, some new ideas, some new merch. So yes, we should be on the lookout for all of that stuff. Any random thoughts before we head out, Ruby?
Yes, I do have a random thought today, and you know how I am terrible with plants and I kill every plant that I ever. So maybe it's been a month or a little over a month. It's definitely been over a month. I got a little basil plant because I wanted fresh basil. I was like, all right, let me just buy this little plant. I think it was at Whole Foods. I don't even remember. Bought it, whatever, brought it home. I took out whatever I was going to use for my recipe. I didn't use it all. So the plant was just there. And I was like, oh, I hate to throw it away. But I was like, but I can't take care of it because I'm pretty sure I'm going to kill this one too. But I was like, you know what? I can't be that negative. Let's try for the millionth, trillionth time. Let me try it one more time. Let's see if I can keep this plant alive. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put it here outside. I put it outside first of all. I was like, let's try outside, not inside. Left the plant outside. I will water it here and there. And a week will go by, another week will go by, and I was like, oh, it's still alive. So I got excited. So I moved the basil from like its little pot that it was in to like a bigger pot, and it needs a bigger home. And my little plant thriving. So I'm really excited that I have not killed this basil plant.
And still thriving, still kicking.
Yeah, it is. Like I've been using it. Like sometimes I make like a basil lemonade and I put a little basil in my lemonade. It's delicious. And I just go out, take a little bit from my plant, come back in, and I got fresh basil. I think it's so cool. I'm just so proud of myself for not killing a plant.
I can never use enough basil. I mean, it's like we planted it like 1 year, and we had like the raised beds, so
Yeah.
like it doesn't like get killed in the frost. So it comes back every year, and it's just like
Yeah.
so they're like 4 feet tall and they're flowering. The bees love them, but it's good for the bees. But I can never keep them up. And then I planted mint 2 years
Oh,
ago,
okay.
and one of them escaped. It's like all around my house now. It's like the whole house
No
smells like
way.
mint. It's like
Oh,
they just
that's awesome.
yeah,
I think
they
I'm
just
gonna
take off.
probably do mint next year. I'll do basil again because I'm familiar with basil now.
But if anybody knows what to do with mint, uh, message me. Let me know.
Yeah, that's a good question. I do buy mint, but oil because I make like a homemade like spray for my dogs for it so they don't like get ticks. So I
Mhm.
like put mint. What else? Tea tree oil, I think as well, lavender oil all together with like water, and I make this spray for them, and it works fine during the summer. So we don't want ticks.
All right. So my random thought is I made a intro for the podcast at the beginning of the season, and I never used it because I'm afraid of CBS. So I took the championship call at the end of the game and I put it to our music. So I've been meaning to like stick it in like the post credit scene thing. I might as well do it. I have it queued up here. You want to listen to it and we'll get out of here?
Let's go.
All right, it's fun.
They've done it! Gotham have done it! Gotham FC, the 2023 champions! 2022, they finished bottom of the table with 13 points. And this will be their first NWSL trophy in their history.
Was that fun? That was
Wow.
fun, right? Should have been.
That was amazing.
I figured if I put it at the beginning of the episode, somebody would be telling us, and then I'd be getting like a cease and desist letter or something stupid.
Mm,
So I never used it.
I think I would. I will risk it for the biscuit.
All right, we'll put
If you
it
get a
forward.
letter, we'll take it down. I don't think you will.
It's a good entrance, right?
Yeah.
And
It got me excited. Like again. Oh my god, they won.
what's funny about that call is like you can almost hear her say the F word. Like I could feel it. Like she's like bottom of the table. I can almost hear her ready to say it. So it's every time I hear that in my head. So
Now it
but
needs
yeah.
like a little beep. It's like bottom of the table.
Yeah. So thank you for sticking around, everybody. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and we will see you in I don't know 2 weeks. We might do a show covering this game. I'm going to try to get a player. We'll see what happens. If we get a player, I'll put an episode of this next 2 weeks.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.